This is not just a survival story, it's a story of unimaginable strength and courage. Her name is Alison Botha, and her story will stay with you forever. In December 1994, Alison Botha was a 27-year-old woman living a peaceful life in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. She had just been promoted at work, had loving friends, and was enjoying the warm summer days before Christmas. But one evening would change everything. After spending time with friends, Alison returned home around 1 a.m. She parked her car just outside her apartment when a man suddenly appeared, forcing his way into the driver's seat. He held a knife to her throat and told her to move over. Alison complied, trying to stay calm. The man said his name was Clinton. He said he just needed to borrow the car for a while and promised he wouldn't hurt her. But Alison had a bad feeling. He drove around for a while before picking up another man, later identified as Franz du Toit. What happened next was horrifying. The two men drove Alison to a deserted area outside the city. There, they raped her and subjected her to brutal abuse. But their cruelty didn't stop there. They decided to kill her, so she wouldn't be able to identify them. They stabbed her more than 30 times in her abdomen. Then, one of them used a knife to slash her throat, not once, but 16 times, cutting so deeply that her windpipe was severed, and her head was almost detached from her body. Thinking she was dead, they dragged her body into the bushes and left. But Alison did something extraordinary. She refused to die. With her body in shock and barely holding on to life, she regained consciousness. She realized that if she didn't move, she would die there, alone. She used one hand to hold her head together, using her other hand to drag herself across the rough dirt road, completely naked, bleeding, and in unbearable pain. Somehow, she made it to the road. A passing car saw her and stopped. The driver, a young veterinary student, called for an ambulance. Alison was rushed to the hospital. Her injuries were unimaginable, her intestines were exposed, her throat was cut open, and yet, she survived. Even the doctors were shocked. Despite the trauma, Alison remembered the faces of both attackers and gave the police detailed descriptions. Thanks to her bravery, both men were caught, tried, and sentenced to life in prison. Alison's courage didn't end there. She didn't hide in silence. Instead, she turned her trauma into power. She became a motivational speaker, telling her story to thousands around the world. She wrote a book called I Have Life, reminding everyone that even in the darkest moments, there is strength within us we never knew existed. Alison Botha didn't just survive. She became a symbol of hope. A symbol of strength. And above all, a woman who refused to let evil win.